Understand how to pass function as a blueprint to another function so it can handle the results automatically. So in this example, we are going to look at how we can use callback to handle how calculation is being performed and returned on the screen. So let's move on and look at the example together. In this example, we want to look at how we can use callback as a parameter in order to run the sum function of what we have in this example. In my HTML part, I really don't have much other than this tag, the p tag here, which corresponds to what you have inside my code output. So aside from that, I also need another key with an ID of demo in order to display results from what I'm going to do inside my script section. So in my script section, I have 3 commented out outline. Add a function called my displayer, make the my calculator function, accept a callback function as a parameter, then register the callback. So I'll go ahead and add the last one, display results, display the results. So let's move on. Now, the reason why I want to use callback here will be clear at the end of this example. So first example, first step rather, my displayer. So it will take a parameter of sum and here document.get element. So this is going to handle where the output of the code is going to be displayed. So that's the purpose equals to sum. So now we have the my display method, even though it's currently not showing anything on the screen. Now, the next step says make my calculator function. So I'll go ahead and make another function and call it my calculator. And inside this calculator, I want to pass 3 parameters. I want to pass them as argument, the first number, second number, which I want to use the function to calculate, as well as my callback, which I want to use to run the function itself. So number 1, number 2, and my callback. So once I have this, I can select sum because I want to perform a sum calculation here. So number 1 plus number 2, and then I want to use my callback to run it. The result of this function, I want to use my callback to run it. So what I'm basically doing here is that JavaScript will have to hold on until the result or the value of both arguments are gotten before it's now displayed. So now that I have this on the screen, it's time to display the results. And how do I display the results? Just call the function name, my calculator, and then pass in value to it, 55, and where I want the result to display, my displayer function. And you should see after that the callback function should run, and you can see 10 on the screen. Now, instead of running the calculation and then separately running a display function, we give the calculator the display instructions up front, which is what you can see here. It's like you give a chef a recipe and your address at the same time. They cook the meal and then automatically they call back to your address to deliver it. So my calculator, which is what we have here, doesn't just do math. It takes a secret ingredient, which is this, a function called my callback. And once the sum is ready, then the calculator immediately runs that callback with the result. So once the result from this is ready, it will be run and handed over to this my callback that you can see here under the code. So this one is defined as our way to show text. You can see the document.get element by ID, so which is our way to show text on the screen. This is defined to take 2 numbers plus a function, which is a callback function, and inside it we calculate the sum, and then this one is executed. Since we pass my displayer, it runs my displayer function to give us the output of what the sum of the number is on the screen. Now, in JavaScript, functions are first-class citizens. This means you can pass a function into another function, just like a number or a string. Now, as a separation of concern, the calculator here handles math and the displayer here handles HTML. Now, the callback is what connects both of them without mixing the code. You don't have to manually call the second function. The first one does it for you. So you don't need it. Just by passing it here, it's getting called. Now, if you now look at what we have in our code, at the bottom of what we have here, now you will see that we wrote my displayer here, but we didn't add parentheses. Since it's a function, when you want to call a function, you always need a parenthesis. But in this instance, we didn't pass parentheses. Did you notice? And you can see that immediately I add parentheses, the value changed to undefined. Now, it is because we are passing the whole function as a tool to be used later. We want to use this later. That is, once this result is gotten first, that is when this should be called. We want to use it later. So if we wrote it with parentheses, it will run immediately and the result will be nothing instead of the usefulness we want it for. And that's the reason why you saw undefined earlier on the screen. So just let me give you a logic analysis. Now, let's say you hire a contractor to build a fence. You don't wait for them to finish and then call a painter. You give the contractor's number, the painter's number, and say, when you are done, call this painter. The contractor does the work and then it triggers the next step. The same thing is applicable here. The contractor here is my calculator. So it does the work and then it triggers this callback automatically, which then calculates the sum and give us our results. Now, notice how my calculator doesn't know it's talking to my displayer. You can see this is passed as the last argument. You just know it has a function called my callback. This makes our calculator super powerful. If tomorrow you want to pop up the result in an alert instead of a paragraph, you could just pass a different function name. And if tomorrow you want to update this, maybe like 80 or value, you can see that this is a convenient way of upgrading or doing whatever you want to do. So callbacks makes this code more flexible to interact with and update data or variables of that function. So callbacks turn your functions into intelligent workers that know exactly what to report to once their job is done.